All I'm saying is this. How about you wipe that paint off your face and then see if you still got that same confidence when you talk to me? 99% of you women won't. Y'all be chasing a woman that's running from you.
Come on, champ.
You supposed to be picking the one that's looking at you.
Come on, champ.
When you do that, you don't even need game because she gonna do everything you need. My uncle told me, stop looking at that bitch that you want and start looking at that little funny looking bitch in the corner just looking at you because that woman finna do everything for you. The value that a woman brings to the table makes her bad to me. So the looks ain't even gonna be the first thing. Y'all put that before everything. I'm putting what a woman's doing for me before everything. I hate to say it, but I'ma say it. You gotta get you a new broad because the old broad you got is always gonna try to treat you how you used to be. And dudes always choosing some bum broad to fuck with. What do that make you? Okay. A woman don't respect, but what she's forced to respect.
Someone said, how much time should I give a woman to get with the program? Like, I don't want to keep repeating myself about the things I don't like around me personality-wise.
Well, personality-wise, character traits are something that you're never really going to change, right? You met this woman 20, 25, 30 years old. And her character is so deeply ingrained in who she is, you're not going to be able to change it. So if you don't like some of the core character traits that you see in a woman, I mean, you either got to accept it and say she has enough good qualities that can offset these ones to make it worth it, or just don't waste your time because you're not going to change it. It's things that she does that she's been doing for the past 20 years. It's so ingrained in her subconscious. She don't even know how to change it. And you're not a trained psychologist to even get to the root of these things and change it. And she may not even value. She has to want to change certain character traits. And most of these women don't. They just want to appease you. It has to be something internal inside herself that wants her to change these things for the process to even start to even change. So most of the time, you just going to get a woman that tries to act like you want her to act for a long enough period of time, which might work. But understand that's all you're doing. You know, it's better to find women with certain character traits that you already like. Certain things are moldable, certain things are not. If a woman is a liar, if a woman is deceitful, if a woman, you know, internally doesn't have really any moral code and doesn't really feel these certain things that she's doing is wrong, doesn't matter what you say. Deep down inside, she may act on the surface like, oh, she's trying to change, but deep down inside, she doesn't feel that way. And you can't make her feel that way. That's why you have to start looking at character traits of the type of woman that you want and find a woman who already has those base layer character traits. And then you could mold a woman like that. Depending on what you getting out the situation, right? You know, I'll put up with a whole lot of shit if, you know, if I was, you know, if it was worth it. Is it worth it? Probably not. Define it. Define to me what love is. You can't, you know, and everybody you ask will give you a different, definition. So I don't want something that's intangible that everybody has a different definition for, right? I mean, what is love, man? What is love? You ask 100 people, you'll get 100 different answers, especially from a woman. Hey, give me some loyalty, right? I don't want the love. You get what I'm saying? Because your love ain't real love. Hey, man, if you really had real love, guess what? The last dude you was with, you still be with. Why? Because you love him, right? You would have overlooked whatever was transpiring because you really love him. So if you told the last dude you was with that you love him, the dude before that you love him, and you with me now, then what your love mean? It really don't mean much. Now, I'm not going to say that to the woman in that manner, but, you know, just because it don't sound good. But at the end of the day, man, we can't put a pin on love. I could put a pin on loyalty. We could define those actions. I could put a pin on respect. We could define those actions. We could put a pin in how you treat me in different ways. So I'm going to focus on these things. Fuck you mean love. What does that even mean? If you could love me but do all these wrong things, if you could love me and leave me, if you can love me and disrespect me, if you could love me and not put me first, then I don't want it. Consideration is probably the highest level of what people claim love is, right? Consideration. Do you consider me with every action that you do? Right? That's real love. Do you consider how I'm going to feel about it? Do you consider yourself first? Just give me some consideration in every action that you make. Make sure I'm top priority in consideration. Give me that. Appreciate it. You know, dropping them ties in there. You got a question?
Oh, yeah, they do. How do you deal with a woman at that time of the month?
How do you deal with a woman on that time of the month. I deal with a woman in the same fashion I deal with her every day of the month, because a woman with me understands there is no excuse. You have no reason to be disrespectful. I don't play that, oh, it's that time of the month. Every woman that I've been with that ever tried that, I let them know there's the door. You get no passes around here. I don't care what the situation is. I don't care what you're going through. I don't care if you're on your period. I don't care if somebody in your family just passed. You never have an excuse to come around me with an attitude, to disrespect me, to talk to me in a manner that I don't see fit. There is no excuse. And most of the time, you just got to let a woman know that I've never had a problem with a woman on that time of the month. You want to know why? Because the moment she tries it, I let her know there's the door. I don't care if it's that time of month. I don't care what you're going through. You're going to come in here and you're going to talk to me with a certain level of respect. If you cannot control your emotions, you don't respect me. I'll tell you like this. If that same woman went to prison in a place where disrespect is met with action, physical harm, do you think she's going to be able to control her actions? Yes, she will. I guarantee you. Somebody put a gun to her head and said, hey, listen, if you get an attitude with me, I'm going to blow your head off. Do you think she's not going to be able to control herself? Yes, she is. She's not controlling herself around you because she doesn't respect you that much. And you haven't made it a requirement. You done heard all of this stuff on TV and this, that. Oh, it's that time of the month. Yeah, well, in my household, I don't care what day it is, because you're going to treat me the same every single day. It's a certain level and we don't dip below that. Now, if you can't control your emotions, guess what? Let's just say a woman really can't control herself. Well, that's a woman I can't be with because you're a liability. You're a grown woman. And because this time of the month, you can't control your actions. Well, you're a liability. You can't be around me anyway. I can't afford to have people around me that just because it's a certain time of the month, they can't control themselves. So you need to just start making it known in your household that disrespect is never tolerated. Attitudes are never tolerated. Those type of things are not tolerated in this household. And if you cannot put your feelings to the side and have a certain character and a certain way you behave in this household, then you just can't be here. That's it. Man, women been trying that with me, man, for years. Nobody taught me this game. Nobody taught me this. It never made sense to me. Give a damn what you going through. They're not going to come in here and disrespect me. You're not going to come in here and get to rolling your eyes and huffing and puffing. You're not going to do it. And guess what? I've never had that problem. Never. Soon as I let it be known I'm not going for it, I've never had that problem. Ever. I don't even think about it. I don't even know when my broad is on her periods. I don't even know. Why? Because she's acting the same with me. Because she know better. It's going to be a situation. And you know what that situation is going to lead to? It's going to lead to us dissolving this relationship because I'm not going for it. But you ain't never sat down and let her know I ain't going for it. You dudes out here done believe the con. Oh, she's on her period, so I'm going to let it slide. Yeah, I ain't never let nothing slide. Ever. Because I love myself that much, though. I have so much respect for myself, everybody. Listen, we give women passes because you've been taught that a woman shouldn't be held to the same standard. Well, guess what? If I'm a man of respect and principle, then any woman dealing with me has to rise to that level. Yeah, baby. Maybe in your life, people around you have allowed you to be weak, have allowed you to not have a moral compass, have allowed you passes, have allowed you and not held you to a certain standard. But around here, you're going to be held to a certain standard. And that's the standard of an adult. I don't deal with kids. So if you want to deal with me, this is the standard. And if you can't get with it, that's fine. You won't be here. But I'm not making concessions or passes for you. You're not that important.
How do you attract a high quality girl?
How do you attract a high quality woman? You have to be a high quality individual. Do you even know what that is? Do you even know what that looks like? First off, define what that is, man. High quality to you and high quality to somebody else is two completely different things. What does high quality mean to you? What are those characteristics? What does that even mean? It means something different to everybody, because somebody will say high quality. They're talking about looks first, right? And then one person's looks, high quality is a certain type of face. Somebody's high quality looks is the right type of body and all the trinkets and everything. So you just got to define what you want. Stop putting out these, what would you call it? Like these definitions that you heard somewhere. Man, I don't give a damn about high quality. I care about the things I care about. the character, the way she treats me, the way she sees me, how she conducts herself, what her moral code is when nobody's looking. You understand me? So it's these type of things. What do you like? That's all you should be worried about. High quality to you is what you like.
Podcast with Johnny Cass was your best one going. Great work as usual.
Appreciate it, man. Yeah, I really feel like that. You know, Johnny Cash got a whole hell of a lot of game, and you know, we ain't even scratched the surface with that one. But we really went deep on some topics in a way that I really liked. And you know, one thing about Johnny Cash that I like is he's not out here glorifying the game, right? Because a lot of people, they come and they sit down, they don't really realize that a lot of people is watching this. A lot of people, you know, don't have male figures. A lot of dudes, you know, see certain things. And so I like when he comes and he don't just come and talk and try to just pop it and make it seem like it's something that if you really know, it ain't really like that. You know, he's letting you know this is what happened. These are certain principles. But guess what? These are the faults of if you really trying to go the route that he went. You know, and then just a lot of the principles, the manhood, the respect, like the foundational principles. He ain't on there talking about, oh, you got to have this, you got to have that. No, he's talking about the respect. And I love the part when he said, hey, man, if it was about looks, I wouldn't have a woman in this world. But he had more than most. Why? Because of these internal qualities that he had, you know, because the respect that he had, because of the man that he was, you know. So, I mean, in that interview, man, we just scratched the surface. So we definitely going to do some more. I would love if anybody watched the interview that got some questions, man. I'll dive in deeper on certain subjects. Give me the next question.
All right. Someone said just moved to Bakersfield, California to start over. What would be a great move to start at?
Man, well, shit, I wouldn't have moved to Bakersfield. Man, you know, it all start with yourself. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to beat a dead horse, though. But, you know, you got to set up a daily blueprint aligned with your actions, right? But you got to get clarity first, man. The number one reason that most people aren't where they want to be is because they don't have a clear idea where they want to be. And when you don't have a clear idea where you want to be, guess what? Any action goes. If I don't know exactly what I want, then I'm going to go for anything. See, I know what I want when I'm looking for a woman, when I'm talking to a woman. So the moment that she shows a characteristic that I don't like, I already know she's dismissed. But when you don't have a clear define of what you want in a woman, well, I'm going to go for that. I'm going to go for that. I'm going to go for that. Hey, listen, if I'm trying to go somewhere, it's a certain way that I'm going to get there efficiently. If I don't know my destination, well, any road will take me there. So I'm going to just be going here and going there and going here. And then where do you end up? You end up in a place that you don't really want to be, like most people. You got to get really clear. Most people will never sit down for an hour and really define everything that they want in every area for every part of their life. You know, in one of my programs, man, that's one of the first things we do, man. It's very easy to get what you want when you know exactly what you want, because this action is either going to take you towards it or take you away from it. So it's real easy to say yes to this and no to this and yes to this and no to this. But most people are saying yes to everything because they don't really know where they're going. So you got to get clarity. You know, and then from there are some steps, man. You get yourself a coach. Get yourself somebody who's going to help you structure that blueprint. Somebody that's going to pick out your flaws. Somebody that's going to be able to keep you on track and hold you accountable to what you're doing. Get on my program. It'll change your life. Or get on somebody's program.
How do you get a female that has been living with you for 17 years to leave amicably? She feels this is her house now.
It ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen. So, yeah, it ain't gonna happen. You put yourself in a precarious situation, and everybody wants to put themselves in bad situations and then just want to find a way to resolve it easily. It don't work like that. You put your hand in the fire, you're gonna have to deal with the consequences of that fire and the wounds and the time it's gonna take to heal. You know, so you just gonna have to go through it. Everybody always looking for the easy way. No, you just go the way that you need to go. She need to leave. All right, well, it's gonna be a problem. It's gonna be a problem. See, what you were supposed to do is come to me way before it even got to 17 years. You're supposed to put provisions in place early on so it don't get like that. All I'm gonna say is be careful. Woman scorned. She been with you for 17 years. Ain't no telling what dirt she might got on you.
How do you get them to leave after you broke up? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't understand that. Tell her to go. Tell her to leave. If is she on a lease? Is she not on a lease? Man, shit, move out. You move out then. You know? If she ain't, go ahead.
They said, what's your Cash App name? A few people asked.
Go to goldieratio.com and it's the first link on the page. Now I'm gonna be looking for a Cash App. Don't be coming in here just saying this and that and the third. You know, you say you're gonna send something, man, I'm gonna be checking on it.
How do you keep going and filling the time in your time to make the most out of it? Although sometimes you feel lost and don't know what next steps to take.
I mean, listen, that's a part of it. You know, that's life. You're never gonna have everything figured out. Nobody has everything figured out, you know. Along the path, you know, you're gonna figure more out as you go. But you know what beats that feeling of not knowing is action. Whenever you're taking action towards what you want, that feeling is gonna subside a little bit. But no, you never gonna know exactly the right path. I mean, maybe if you got a mentor or something, but you're never gonna know the exact right path and the exact right things to do at all times. It just don't work like that. Life don't work like that. So if you're looking for that, stop it. So next time you start feeling like that, don't feel so bad. Understand that's how you're gonna feel, you know, majority of the time.
Cash App thing linked on here. How do you do that?
I'm gonna send it to you and then you can put it in there, type it in there.
All right, someone said, what did you think about the book Thinking Fast and Slow?
I thought it was good. You know, I thought it was just understanding how your mind works, how your mind comes to conclusions. So if you're not slowing down to think about what you're thinking about, you'll make some very costly assumptions. And that's what a lot of people do. Because what is the book about? It's about how our mind automates processes to free up RAM. So we're always making assumptions, snap judgments, and things that are not necessarily true. Because that's how our brain is wired. So to stop, slow down, and actually think about what's going on, you might make some better decisions. What was my process of breaking bad habits? Creating good habits. You know, they say you can't just stop doing something. You have to replace it with something. So, I mean, we shouldn't talk in theory, man. What's your bad habit that you trying to break? So I got a lot of guys that I coach, and one dude recently, he stopped smoking weed. He said it's the best thing that ever happened in his life, you know, but he was talking about how he replaced smoking with the gym, and now he's like addicted to the gym, a guy who's never really worked out like that in his life. So trade your bad habits for good positive habits. You get what I'm saying? So if you got a bad habit, try to replace it with a good, better habit. I mean, you looking for an easy answer. It ain't one. You got to want something different more, or you just going to stay doing what you're doing. That's really what it is. You got to see. I learned this a long time ago. See, when I was younger, my mom, she used to have a bunch of Les Brown tapes and Tony Robbins tapes. And I can remember a long time ago, it was talking about future projecting. Like, how do you change? Right? You could use two things. You could want something very badly, or you can hate something very badly, you know, and I feel like most people need that. So what he would say is you have to project into the future. If I keep doing this action, project 5-10 years, like, OK, I need to stop eating bad. Right. So then when you're about to eat that burger, that burger may not do nothing to you now, but you have to project into the future. 10 years in the future, I'm not going to be able to go to my daughter's wedding because I'm going to be dead by a heart attack, or my wife is going to leave me because I'm look fat and disgusting. Right. So you want to project into the future what this bad habit, what type of life you're going to have. So you get to that point, that pain point. Right. Because that's what most people need to change. So instead of hitting rock bottom and then the life forcing you, you can just future project in your mind to that terrible point. If you compound interest that bad habit and what your life is going to be, feel that pain, and that'll help you stop doing the bad action. You know, it's just you got to have different methods. You know, couple that with, you know, visualizing a great future if you do the opposite of it and things of that nature. But man, what works for most people, they say you'll run faster away from danger than you will towards something that you want. So I feel like most people burning desire, yeah, that's good, but you really want to have a burning desire to get away from where you at right now, hate and despise who you are and the things you're doing right now, and that'll probably help you stop that bad habit, right? If you're smoking cigarettes, right, you want to stop that bad habit, man, just project into the future, you having lung cancer. Go watch some on TV about people who have died of lung cancer and what it's going to be like with your family having to come see you in a hospital and you're breathing on a ventilator. Or, you know, just come up with the worst possible scenario if you continue the path that you on and make it painful. That's one way. Next question.
John Gamble sent you $50.
John Gamble, what's going on with you, man? Appreciate it.
You men in the chat and that are watching live have money to trick off on women, but can't put something in the super chat.
You feel me? You feel me? Yeah. Y'all, matter of fact, I'm finna jump off because he really just reminded me. I'm out here giving all this good game. Y'all tricking off on these women ain't doing nothing for you. I'm over here giving you some good game. You know, I get paid a lot of money to do this, and I'm doing this out here for free out of the kindness of my heart, and y'all can't even chip in $1, $2 here and there.
He says support this man at all costs and stop being cheap. Keep up the good work, game God.
Man, appreciate it. That's my type of guy right there. You a winner. You a winner. And you showing the world that you value information and its abundance, and you making ties, and ties gonna come back to you.
My baby went on for 10 years, and I'm scared to leave her with my autistic son. She's not as good as disciplinary to him as needed. What do I do?
Oh, that's a hard situation. I feel you. That's why I had to get my son, because I knew my son's mother would have ruined my son. And when he was younger, I could already start to see the characteristics, so it's understandable. But you got to figure something out. I mean, just because you're not with her don't mean that you won't be able to have some sort of influence over your child's life. But at the end of the day, though, you'll never be the best person that you can be in a relationship that you shouldn't be in for a multitude of reasons. And your child's life isn't going to be the best if you're staying with a woman that you shouldn't be with for a multitude of reasons. So it's not, like I said before, man, when you put your hand in the fire, there's no rush in the process that the universe has to take. It's going to burn. It's going to hurt. You made a wrong decision. You picked the wrong baby mother. You maybe didn't know, but it is what it is. And now you're going to have to exit that situation. And it's not going to be easy, but it's something that you got to do. Otherwise, you'll live a quiet life of desperation. And is that what you want your kid to see? You can't be great for your child unless you're great for yourself. So you got to put yourself in a situation where you're mentally clear in the right situation for yourself, so you could be the best example and provide the best for your child. What I would do is I would go down to the court first, make sure you get 50-50, right? But I would definitely leave the situation. I ain't staying with no fucking body that I don't want to be with for no fucking reason. Bitch, I'm gone. We'll figure that shit out. But I say get ahead of it, though. Yeah, you gotta, it is what it is, man. But so I think like this, right? You just gotta be resourceful. You just gotta ask yourself, can it be done? I don't trust my son's mother with him. I don't think she's the best for him. But is there a way? Is it possible for me to leave this woman and make sure my son or my daughter or whatever gets everything that they need and some? Well, of course it's possible. Well, you just got to find that possibility. It may not be easy, but if it's possible, it can be done, and you should be figuring out how it could be done. And money solves the most problems. If you had a whole hell of a lot of money, it wouldn't be no situation. You can get the best care, the best teachers, the best whatever. So do what you need to do, man. There's people in situations where they done had way harder shit to do. 3-4 kids at 15, 16, 17 years old. It still ended up becoming a multi-millionaire and shit like that, man. You just got to want it bad enough.
I'm trying to get my BM to move out. I asked her already, even called the police once. It's been 6 months and she's taking her time moving out.
Well, man, I don't understand. It don't really make sense to me. If it's your house, there has to be some legal way to get her to move out. It's that simple. I mean, I don't care if it's common law or whatever it is. There is a process for people in your house that's in your name that, that some way that they would have to move out, man. Go on Fiverr, find you a lawyer that could go through the laws in your state and find out what's the legal way to get somebody out of your house. I mean, and if worst case scenario, you can't get her out, man, then move yourself. I ain't letting nobody hold me hostage in my house. Choose wisely. See, listen, most people's downfall in life is trying to come back from poor decisions, right? What is the saying? An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, right? If you just really take every decision you make very carefully, you won't have these situations that really fucking derail your life for years. I did it too, though. That's why I'm very careful of what I do now, because one wrong decision could derail you for 5-10 years, put stress on your life, you know. So if you just stopped doing the wrong thing, man, your life would be a lot easier. Self-inflicted, self-sabotaging behavior. And most of the time for you dudes, it's always around a woman. Ain't that some shit?
Someone said, at what point do you start spending money on your girl?
Whenever I feel like it. Whenever I feel like it. Don't jump the gun. Or you can jump the gun. Do what you feel like doing. There are no rules to it. Just make sure everything is earned in the way that you see fit. Otherwise, you're creating a monster. It's like creating a spoiled child. You know, you're just doing stuff for no reason. Well, there needs to be a reason for it. Otherwise, it's like, well, why do right if I can just get whatever I want whenever I want? You know, you're sending mixed signals, right? You do nothing, you get something. Well, then she's really not able to identify what the correct behavior that you want is. And I would say this, man, your presence should be the biggest gift. Your presence should be, because I'm going to tell you what, too. A woman could actually like you. But if you always giving her something with your hand, she going to fall in love with your hand. And then when you take the hand away, it's going to feel like a loss. So it could be a woman who's genuinely interested in you and genuinely likes you, but you're over here doing all of these things that give her great feelings. Well, now she likes that. And then when you stop, if you ever stop doing it, she's going to feel like it's a loss, rather if you never did it from the jump. I would always make my time with her the most important thing. You know what I'm saying? Otherwise, it's a dangerous game. You're going to set a pace that you're going to have to keep up, rather than, you know, you teach a woman with the value. You know, if she gets your time and your energy and you do nice things, you know, with her, with your time, and she values that, then she'll get those same feelings she'll get from a gift when she gets to get that time with you. But instead, you want to give her something instead. Well, then that's what she's going to be trained to like. And now that's the new standard. Now, when you don't do it, it's like, well, what's up? What's going on? I'm feeling away because you ain't been doing it.
Where do you draw the line for a joke versus disrespect?
Give me the actual situation. You're asking me something so vague. How would I know, depending on the situation? So re-ask the question.
Well, someone sent you 100. Sir Woolfolk.
Hey, see, that's what I'm talking about. What is it? How you spell? Sir Woolfolk. If she's saying that right, appreciate you. You know, people out here who appreciate good game, I appreciate, because I understand the value of some good game. What is his question? We're going to go deep on his question.
I'm a firm believer that the coldest people at whatever their expertise is actually unknown. They're somewhere being great without recognition. What was the last straw that broke the camel's back that made you say, fuck it, let me get on the internet? Oh, that's a great question.
Let's break down the first part of his question first, though. What did he say, the first part?
I'm a firm believer that the coldest people at whatever their expertise is actually unknown. They're somewhere being great without recognition. What was the last straw that broke the camel's back that made you say, fuck it, let me get on the internet? I did not get it.
I mean, somewhat, yes and no. LeBron, Kobe, Michael Jordan, some of the greatest at their craft. We know who they are, right? You know, some of the greatest artists, Michelangelo, you know, Picasso, we know who they are, right? Even some of the greatest people in business. All right, we can say in business, yeah, it's probably some great guys out there, but look at Jeff Bezos, one of the most, the biggest company in the world. We know who he is. Mark Zuckerberg, one of the youngest billionaires. We know who he is. People like Hermosi, $100 million companies. We know who he is. So I wouldn't say that the best people in the world that we don't know who they are. They're just somewhere too busy being great. But yeah, it's a lot of great people who we don't know, But you're saying that to say what, though?
He asked, what was the last straw that broke the camel's back that made you say, fuck it, let me get on the internet? Like before you started.
Okay, so we got to back up a little bit. The real question would be, what was the straw that broke the camel's back to get me to transition from the lifestyle I was living out of that lifestyle? And I can't go into too much detail, but leading up to it, the more aware you become, the harder it is to do things that are beneath you. The more I was reading, the more I was beginning to understand certain things about life and ideologies and the teachings that I was reading and the people that I was following and the seminars that I was going to. It was very hard for me to stay in this low vibrational field of playing when I started to know better. See, some people don't know better, but I knew better. And it was becoming very hard to, like, cognitive dissonance. I knew what I was doing was beneath me. I knew what was to come. But at the same time, I tried not to listen to that voice because I understood the more I think about that, it makes me hard to do what I do, man. It's hard to do wrong when you know better. When you don't know better, you can go hard at going wrong. But when you start to know better, it is very hard to be good at something that that you know better to do. And then to have other people who are following you do the same thing. So it was a culmination of all of that. And then a certain situation transpired that broke the camel's back, which I ain't gonna speak on this on here. I be seeing all these dudes on these fucking podcasts talking too much. I ain't doing that. But it was a situation that transpired that put me in a very precarious situation. And I told myself, I said, God, if you get me out of this situation, I ain't playing with this shit no more. I'm no longer going to put myself in a position where my freedom is not in my hands, where my destiny is not in my hands. Long story short, by the grace of God, that situation passed. And like all people do, once you out of the fire, you like, oh, well, shit, I know what I said, God, but, and then, I tried to do a few things. But anyway, fast forward to your question. So I'm sitting down. I'm like, I got to figure something out. I wasn't thinking about the internet at all. I was always talking about people on the internet like, man, that shit is corny. Woo-doo. Mind you, it wasn't that people. I didn't see the people making money with it like that back then. But anyway, I'm just going through my transition. I'm trying to find out what I want to do. I'm trying to find out what I need to be doing. I'm getting on my health kick. And, I'm cutting out all the vices. I'm reading a lot more. I'm really going deep on the inner work. I'm really building myself from the bottom to the top, with the mentors that I had, the business mentors I was starting to have, the personal development mentors I was starting to have. And I was really just doing the work, trying to figure things out. And then I met an individual, and he was making millions of dollars a month. And that's really all it took for me to see that and say, ain't no way you living better than anybody I've ever met, making videos online. I said, all right, bet I'm finna take a crack at this. And it was really that simple. That's why I think it's important to get around people doing more than you, because it makes it feel like it's possible. You can meet somebody, or you can see somebody online like Kai Cenat, and you'll be like, okay, but it may not feel real to you. But getting in the presence of somebody who is actually doing something and you're seeing in real time the money that they're making makes you feel like it's possible. So that's what it was, and then it was a mentor, and I went through his program, and he was just showing and talking about it, and he was going through the process, and he was showing the process, and that was it. I was like, man, I'm gonna take a crack at this. I'm gonna put 365 days into this content shit and see what the fuck I can do. And that was it. But I went through the backstory because there was a lot that led up to that. I went through a whole lot of different things and transitions before I even got to that point. And then, I was doing the content. The first when I started the content, I was really just talking about the things that I was going through to keep my mental proper and the working out and the macros and everything that was keeping me sane in this transition, mentally strong. So at that time, I was really into that because that's what was keeping me sane in this transition of a life that I was living for so long into the unknown, into something else. It was the working out. It was the reading. It was the cutting the vices. It was the reading. It was the meditation. It was these things. And so that's what I was preaching. And then slowly but surely, I just started dropping the gems of things that I didn't even realize people needed to hear, just, about women and things of that nature. And then once I saw people took a liking to that, I started leaning into that a little bit more. So I kind of roundabout way answered your question. Because you dropped 100, man, if you got another question to add on to that, I'll answer that too.
They can't hear me asking the questions.
I would have you sit here, but then you're not going to be able to see because that computer is connected. I'll have to figure it out one day.
Someone said, mind you said what you think of.
Come on, hurry up with the questions. Come on, this whole time I was talking, you didn't think to look at another question?
There's not that many.
How many people are on?
Okay, here's one.
I said, how many people are on?
181. They said, what's your opinion on afterlife? Is there a heaven and hell?
I don't think it matters. Think about it like this. You're asking me, what is my opinion on the afterlife? Is there heaven or hell? Well, from your perspective, life is infinite, right? You didn't know, you can't remember where you were, if you were anywhere before you were born. And you can't be conscious of being unconscious when you die. So from your perspective, you have always been here and you will always be here. Because if you were no longer here and you were unconscious, you couldn't be conscious of being unconscious. So from our perspective, we are infinite. I've only ever been alive. And if I die, I won't know I'm dead. So I'll only have ever known to be alive. So does it really matter? This is what I think. I think that people should spend more time perfecting their life now than worrying about what comes next. Because it's all theory. Now, you can say some people have some really strong beliefs of what's next, but at the end of the day, unless you've been there, it's just a belief. So do you really want to base your entire life off of something that may or may not be true? Or you can take everything and all your energy and time and think about right now, because right now is all you got to make this experience the best it could be.
He said $2. He said, establish principles or live accordingly. Explain.
Establish principles and live accordingly.
Or live accordingly. Explain. I guess he's asking like either or.
He said he's asking an either or.
Yeah, because he said establish principles or live accordingly. Like,
Write another comment to explain what you're really asking me.
I don't know how to pronounce it. Quasar 444 said thank you for the game. Greatly appreciate it. Need it. Keep doing God's work. He sent $5.
Appreciate it.
Okay. And Rory Kane sent $20.
Appreciate it.
He said, what has consistently worked for you when fundraising for your businesses?
I've never fundraised for my business. I've only gotten loans, business credit.
If someone said, I'm at a breaking point, a brother is so broke, but in my certification courses I'm excelling. You add in that game, I need to be faithful in myself. Appreciate it.
What did he say? Say it again.
He said he's at his breaking point. He's so broke, but in his certification courses, he's excelling. You add in that game, I need to be faithful in myself. Appreciate it.
I don't know kind of what he's talking about, but I mean, it sounds like he's going through like some school or some training that he's working towards. I don't know. Maybe you're broke in the meantime because you're focusing all your time and attention on that. And one day that will actually be where you get your income from. I don't know. I remember when I was younger, I think I was 16 years old, and it was a guy who worked at the grocery store that I bag groceries at, and he was working as a cashier and going to school at night. And he was doing that, you know, he had this little bucket, and, you know, he was just all he did. He went to work at this job that he hated, then would go to school at night because he was trying to become a professor. Years later, right, I was working there at 16. By the time I was like 21, I went try to enroll in community college. He was a professor there. So, you know, shit worked out for him because he stayed down, you know. So, hey, man.
So, Serval Folk, he came back and said, when you come into Nairobi, Kenya, I know you be in Dubai, but Kenya is where it's at.
Man, I heard. I'm definitely making a trip to Africa. So stay tuned. I'm gonna do that soon.
Okay, the other guy that sent, Adrian, that sent $2, he said it's a quote, Pimpin' Ken said, establish principles or forever live accordingly. He wants you to expand on it.
Well, you'll have to ask Pimpin' Ken about that quote because I have heard it, and I want to say I've heard him say it, but I'm not exactly sure what that means. It says establish principles or forever move accordingly.
Live accordingly.
I don't know if you're saying it right. Is it establish principles and forever move accordingly? I think that's what the quote is. And that just means make sure you establish principles and live by those principles. Next question.
He said, what's the coldest game a shawty ever ran on you? And what did you learn from it?
The coldest game a woman's ever ran on me. Let me think.
And what did you learn from it?
Off the top of my head, I can't think of any game a woman's ran on me that just all blew my mind. Oh, that was so clever. You know, women's game that they run is, you know, really just basic. It's just if you're too caught up in your emotions, you'll miss it. The coldest game ever ran on me was ran by men older than me. I can remember when I would listen. I'm gonna tell y'all a story. I don't think I've ever told this story before. Working at Save Mart. I was a bag person. Back then, cashier's checks, and that might be now, if it was blank and nobody signed it, you could cash it anywhere. So I'm walking while I'm bagging groceries behind the building on my break. I see a cashier's check on the ground. I'm 16 at the time. You can't even go behind the counter and cash them. So it's this dude in the neighborhood that always be up there. Gotta be damn near 40 years old. I'm like, yo, I got this cashier's check. I just found it. I was like, I don't think I could cash it because I'm 16. He was like, all right, cool. I'll cash it for you. Just, you know, break me off some. I'm like, cool. I can't even remember how much it was. Maybe it was like 500, but to whatever it was a lot to me. Anyway, mind you, I see this dude almost every day. Talk to everybody. He talked to everybody in the neighborhood. Anyway, I'm bagging groceries. It's behind me where he's cashing it. So it's in a grocery store, but it's its own thing. And I see him behind me. He go up to the front desk. I hear the whole conversation. He like, oh, yeah, you know, here's the cashier's check. Oh, yeah, I'm going to write this in. Anyway, he cashed the cashier's check. Later, outside, I'm like, yeah, where's the money at? He was like, they wouldn't let me cash it. I'm like, huh? He was like, yeah, they wouldn't let me cash it. I'm like, I saw you cash it. He's like, nah, man, you saw wrong. They didn't let me cash it. Ran game on me. You know, and I say that to say this, right? Grown ass man, fucking 40 years over, fucked me out some bread. And it pissed me off too. And see, back then, I didn't, matter of fact, and he ran up on me about it. Because after he did that, I started to talking to dudes in the neighborhood just like an idiot. I asked a nigga, hey, I'm trying to buy a gun because this dude, he didn't try to play me out some bread. So I'm running around like an idiot, telling everybody what happened, asking who can I buy a gun from because I felt like I was going to do something. And it got back to him, and he tried to run up on me at the store. Grown ass 40-year-old run up on me like, "But man, you run around telling people I got you out some money." Anyway, long story short, most people in my life who fucked me and ran game on me were older dudes, and that's why it's important to be in your kid's life, because what people fail to realize in life, in neighborhoods, the people running the most game be older men on younger men. So what you think about like in the gangs and things like that, it always be an older, sharper dude taking advantage of the younger dudes. And man, in my life, a lot of older dudes was trying to run game on me because I wasn't sharper. But I'll tell you what, I learned the most game from getting game ran on me. The best way to learn game is getting game ran on you, because that's how you see the inner workings of some game. Oh, I got stories for days of old ass niggas that was trying to run game on me when I was younger. And I dislike older niggas right now because of it. Because I feel like when a young man comes to you and sees you in a certain fashion, you should take that trust and give the game and steer him in the right direction. It was so many older dudes that tried to steer me in a wrong direction intentionally. Now we got to a point where I was sharper than the average dude when I was coming up. So I started to peep it, and I would literally be sitting with older dudes and be like, I can't believe this nigga think I'm that big of a fucking fool. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, I went off on a fucking tangent. Yeah, man, I hate old niggas, man. Next question. Oh, hold on. Matter of fact, let me tell you a story about how an old nigga knocked me for my bitch. Right? Anyway, he ain't even want the broad. I don't know how he met the broad, but anyway, he was like, "Oh man, it's this girl. She like you. Woo, 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 woo." I'm like, "Tell her come on." You know what I'm saying? I ain't really want her, but I'm like, she came. She was willing. She was talkative. I'm like, "Hey, listen, well, woo, woo, woo. If you want to fuck with me, you know, show me something." Anyway, you know, I didn't care if she showed me something or not. If she showed me something, cool. If she didn't, I was like, man, I ain't really tripping. Anyway, she turned out to be a fast learner. One of the fastest, like just a natural gifted gab, you know. Anyway, ended up fucking with her for a while. Long story short, something transpired. She ended up, you know, kicking rocks, ended up with him. Come to find out, he ain't have no game like that. He didn't have no game. He was perpetrating like he was this big old, nah, he wasn't. He knew and heard about me and the things that I was teaching. He sent her to me so I could lace her, and had all of these side curves that he already knew he was going to get her back. Throwing a whole bunch of like just weird stuff. And then I come to find out, man, he did that to a lot of young dudes. You be like, oh yeah, he knocked me from my bro. Oh yeah, he did this. Yeah. So anyway, be careful who you try to get some game from. But it's a thing in the game. No, this is what it's called. It's a thing in the games, you know, that the OG will give the game backwards. That's really how it go. A lot of OGs in the game will literally get a young dude and act like he mentor him and give him the game backwards. But anyway, and let me try to think of some other stories where niggas was trying to tell me some off the wall shit. I think I had a nigga one time, he was trying to tell me like, I was like, such and such going on. I'm trying to figure it out. He was like, hey, this is what you need to do. You need to, next time she say that to you, stand her up in the corner and smack her across her face. I was thinking in my head, I said, this nigga think I'm a goddamn fool. I know the game enough to know I shouldn't be doing some shit like that. And when he said that shit to me straight face, like I was just the damnedest fool in the world. But I say that to say, even in life, I've found business mentors to be just as crafty, almost more crafty. It's a lot of people out in this world that is going to give you the game backwards that you go to help for. It just is what it is, and you better figure that the fuck out. It's a lot of people, I ain't gonna say too much. Be careful who you get the game from, because they'll give it to you backwards, but give you two other pieces the right way. So they'll give you two pieces the right way and you'll say, oh, this shit is working. So then you won't even think that they're going to throw you a curveball that don't even make no sense. I'm going to just say like this, right? Peep game. Peep game. Because it'll be a motherfucker doing better than you that don't want to see you win. It'll be a motherfucker that you giving some money to who see your potential and for whatever reason just don't like you. And they won't tell you. They'll just give you the game backwards. All right, come on. We gonna move on. And got me all in my feelings about these old niggas, man.
All right. Someone said how to deal with flaky women.
Oh, man, that's a self-explanatory question, man. If she's flaking, she don't like you the way she need to like you for you to fuck with her. Just go find another one, man. You got to be building your roster. You got to have multiple on deck. See, you supposed to be going from one woman to the next woman to the next woman. And even when you catch one, you stay working like you ain't got none. Why? Because you know, statistically speaking, she probably going to fall off. The only reason you worried about a woman flaking is because that's the only woman you working on. If you had 2-3 other women you was working on and she flaked, you wouldn't even notice it, would you?
Someone said, I have joint custody of my 3-year-old. I live in CLT, but I want to move to Miami once my business scales. As a father, how would you navigate that?
I would just do it. You got to go to where you need to go. You got to go to where the connections are. You got to go to where the opportunity is. You know, certain places, man, you're just never going to win. No matter how hard you try. It's far more important what boat you're in than how far you row. It is far more important what boat you're in than how far you row. And if people prioritize being in the right boat, being around the right people, being in the right business model, business structure, industry over how hard they working, they would get a lot further. And I could go deep on that for an hour, but I won't. Just trust me. Some things just trust me. About to get off in a minute.
Someone said, my new career gonna start when the start. Okay, I don't know.
How many people are on?
227. All right,
Oh, and how much money has been sent?
how do I tell? Probably like 1.
Y'all got me so messed up right now. I done been on here dropping gems, some life-changing information for the past hour, and y'all feel like that ain't work. Man, I charge $200 for 15 minutes. I charge $200 for 15 minutes. I done been on here for an hour, and I ain't got but 100 and some change. Y'all gonna make me never get on this motherfucker again. I'm gonna save this for the paying individuals.
I use that some more. All right, someone sent you €10.
Appreciate it.
How do you catch yourself falling into a state of scarcity and avoiding acting out of emotion or desire as opposed to principle, especially with women?
Ask the question again.
How do you catch yourself falling into a state of scarcity and avoiding acting out of emotion or desire as opposed to principle, especially with women?
So many different questions in one. He's talking about scarcity, then he's talking about desire. All right, let's do the first part of the question. Read the first part.
How do you catch yourself falling into a state of scarcity and avoid acting out of emotion?
All right, stop there. Well, you just have to control your mind, right? And I always talk about things to control my state. Number one, I'd say, man, just make sure you never contemplate your life in a low state, in the wrong state. Otherwise, you're going to feel like everything's falling apart. So the number one thing is identify what state you're in. If you're identifying yourself in a lack mind state, in a scarcity mind state, once you identify it, number one, I'm not going to contemplate my life right now because obviously I'm not in the right state to see solutions, to see the positive in it. So immediately what I want to do is I need to raise my frequency. I got to get into a better state, right? And how do you do that? Well, I have tools. Go to the gym. Go for a run. Go drop down and do 50 burpees. Go read something that you know is inspirational and positive. Go watch something motivational, right? Put yourself into the right state, the right frequency, then come back to that same situation. I guarantee you're going to see the opportunity and not the scarcity. in the situation. And then just remember, man, you gonna get what you think about. Whatever you mix with imagery and emotion is going to come to pass very fast. So you want to be very careful not to dwell on that scarcity, because all you're going to do is see more scarcity. So what you want to do is pattern disrupt. All right, I'm going down a mental path that I don't want to do, negative imagery in my mind about something. OK, I need to stop. How do I stop? Go do something, man. Go work out, go read something, go meditate, go watch something funny on TV, or go take a nap. You know, sometimes I'll be looking at people and I'll be like, man, we just grown ass kids. Sometimes people just need a nap. Sometimes people just relax, go take a nap. And when you wake up, you feeling different. You ever been thinking about something and going through it in your mind, and then the next day you're in a different mood and you think about that same thing differently? Understand that's what emotion do. So sometimes you just have to pattern disrupt that emotion that you're in. Identify that this is not the right state. No matter what I think right now, it's going to be wrong because I'm not in the right state. And I need to wait until I'm in the right state to start thinking about this problem again. And if I have the tools, I need to use those tools to raise my frequency and get into the correct state. What's the second part of his question?
He said, acting out of emotion or desire as opposed to principle, especially with women. I mean, that was the whole thing.
Acting out of desire and emotion as opposed to principle when it comes to women. I mean, sound like it's hard. Your principle is not strong enough. That's all that is. They're not really principles. They're just ideas that you like. Because when it's a principle, then you're gonna stand on your principle over your desire. You know what I'm saying? So solidify your principles, and then it won't be such a hard thing to do. But everything affects everything, man. When you become more disciplined in other areas of your life, when you become more emotionally controlled in other areas of your life, it'll spread to other areas of your life. So you just must not be a very disciplined individual. And women is the thing that exposes yourself to yourself. Like I heard a story once, man, it's easy to be a calm, peaceful monk in the middle of the mountains. But can you be that same peaceful, calm monk in the middle of Miami where they honk at you before the light even turned green? You know, so women are just where you're tested, that's where you can see your flaw, you know, so that's an area you need to work on. And ain't no easy work. If women and things of that nature get you faltering on your principles, and then your principles ain't that strong, and it just takes a woman to really show you who you are, what you thought you was, and you're not really that. So you got to do the things to make you that. And how do you strengthen your discipline and emotional control? Well, you strengthen your discipline and emotional control in other areas.
Okay, Cash Crumbs and $10.
Appreciate it.
He said, at what age did you start taking your bills and credit serious?
My bills?
Your bills and your credit.
I don't know what you mean by bills. I've always paid my bills. My credit, I started really getting into the credit like 2000 and I don't know, probably when I was like 28, 29. I mean, I feel like get your credit right. Yes. Get your credit right. Yes. But I don't understand what these people think and putting so much weight on get your credit right. Yes. Let me put this delicately, right? Get your credit right. But even if you get your credit right, what are you going to do with it? What are you going to, like a lot of people who ain't even business savvy, don't even got an idea for a business. If they started a business, they'd fail that business. Don't even got no skills in business. Don't even know how to start a business. Ain't never started a business. Ain't never did nothing successful. Think you just finna get, okay, you get 250,000 for a business. You're still probably going to fail that business because you have no type of business acumen. Credit is important, yes. But you also have to develop the skills that it takes to run a business, understand the business that you're getting into and things of that nature. Right. So I'll tell you this, too, man. I was always the type of nigga, man. I don't give a fuck about my credit. I don't give a fuck about no bills. I don't give a fuck about no credit card debt. You're not going to stress me out about some shit like that. Me and my friend, he's locked up to this day. One of my best friends when I was coming up. I haven't spoken to him in a long time. We just went different paths. But we had a thing when we was younger. If a nigga ain't going to come kill me about it, and the police ain't going to come get me about it and take me to prison about it, I don't give a fuck. And I'm not going to stress about it. And there's a lot of people out here stressing about some credit card debt, stressing about their credit. How the fuck you gonna stress me out about some shit that's not even real? You do realize that shit is not even real, right? But I'm putting physical stress, mental stress on my body about some shit that's technically not even real. It's a construct. It ain't happening. I'm not tripping off no shit like that. I'm only gonna trip off some real shit. Now, yes, you want to get that shit together. You do. But what I'm not gonna do is trip on it. You can call me 100 times about some bills that I got. I'm not going to trip on that unless you're going to come here about it, unless I'm going to go to jail about it. You need all the mental clarity you can to be successful in life. So don't be tripping off some shit that you can't, that it ain't time to trip on. Sometimes in life, hey man, yeah, you got some bills, you got some student loans that you behind on, you got some credit card debt you behind on. Yeah, your credit ain't looking good, right? But right now ain't the time to work on that or focus on it. And if you ain't gonna work on it or focus on it, why stress on it? It's just ruining your day to day for other things you got going on. You know, whenever you have an emotion, it's a chemical that goes off in your body. They say the human body is one of the most, what did he say? The human body is one of the most complex and greatest chemical factories on the planet. Whenever you have a feeling, an emotion, there's a chemical that's going on in your body, whether you mad, whether you sad, whether you happy, whether you having sex, all of that. So you will literally poison yourself every time you thinking about some bills. Fuck them bills. Fuck them credit card people. Fuck all that. If you ain't finna come kill me about it, you ain't gonna come see me about it, you ain't gonna take me to jail about it, I'm not tripping on it. I'm gonna trip on some shit I need to be tripping on, which ain't that. That's the last thing on my mind. So I should adopt that. But other than that, yeah, I mean, yeah, of course, man, get your credit right. Ain't that hard, don't cost that much. Get your credit right. But it's a lot of things that you people need to be getting right before you get your credit. You think the credit's going to be the end all be all. You ain't even right yourself. You need to get in the gym. You need to get your mindset right. You need to stop fucking with that broad who's holding your life back. You know, you need to go start reading more. You need to start knowing who you are. You need to get some clarity. You need to meditate. You need to develop who you want to be. You need to get some clarity on what you want in life for real. You're just going to get some money and go down the wrong path because you ain't even adopted or thought about what you really want. It's a lot of things that you should do before you get your credit right. And I ain't talking about monetary. I'm talking about personal development wise. Shit, if I could go back in time and knew what I knew now about personal development and how when you change, everything changed and developing yourself is the most important part, I would have got a $50,000 loan on a credit card to just be able to pay my bills for a year. And I would have did nothing but work on myself, work on my body, work on my skills, work on speaking. Because I understand how valuable it is when you become the right man that everything you touch turns to gold. Y'all keep looking for what's going to be easy because you're not that. When you become that, everything you touch is easy because you have all the skills, the consistency, the discipline, the habits to make anything you touch work. Then you ain't got to go and search for the thing that's working right now because you know the man that I am is going to make whatever I want to do work. That kind of don't even answer your question. I went off on a tangent, but next question. I'm about to jump off in a second.
All right, this one. What's more valuable, having one solid shorty or a roster?
Come on, man. That's not even a good question. Having one solid shorty or a roster. I don't know. How valuable is the one girl versus how valuable is the roster? One woman could be better than 5 women. Or 5 women could be better than 1 woman, depending on the women.
Elevation Media sent another $5. He said no more questions right now. I just appreciate the game. I'll be investing with you soon.
Appreciate it.
Right. Here's one. They said if you hit a financial roadblock and your girl starts to expect more out of you, her friends in her ear, how do you explain that she should stay down? She got a new job.
Fuck out of here, man. I ain't explaining to no broad, oh, you should stay down.
Never asked for much.
So you're trying to tell her why she needs to stay down? That's what he's asking?
He said, how do you explain that she should stay down?
I ain't explaining shit. She don't want to stay down. She don't need to stay down. Fuck, I'm going to try to explain to you, you should stay down. Bitch, fuck you. You don't want to be here, don't be here. Man, why you so worried about the broad, man? I don't get it. This is why personal development is so important in life. I am never looking for something outside of myself. Broad don't want to be here. She ain't got to be here. I would never convince a broad to stay here. I mean, unless, you know, it was a multi-millionaire and I was really just milking on the broad, but then that's all game anyway. I'm just playing for the bread. But I would never convince a woman why she should stay down. If she don't see the value in stay down, don't stay down. I've never had to tell a woman to stay down. Woman gonna stay down. It's not even a question, because a woman dealing with me, she with me for me. So if I was broke with a woman, I think I said this last time I was on live. Man, when I was younger, I was broke and still had women. Me and my woman would drive up to the beach, sleep in the car because we couldn't even afford a motel. And it was no complaints, no whining, no complaining. No, you a broke ass. No, none of that. None of that. It just was what it was. So if a woman if you got to convince a woman to stay down with you, man, that ain't the woman for you, man. Fuck her, get another one. And not even get another one, man. Fuck the bitch. Fuck bitches in general. Get yourself right. Get your money right. Get yourself in a solid position. That should be the most important thing. See, I don't need nobody. And you should feel like that too. You was born alone, you die alone. Guess what? And you'll have the right people around you when you feel like that. As long as you need somebody, you're at their discretion of how they want to treat you. I'm going to tell y'all a story, right? It's a young lady when I was coming up. I don't know how I'm going to tell this story. I'm going to tell it, though. I was young, right? You know, me and my younger brother, we were doing a whole lot of things out in the neighborhood. I get a call from my brother. He says, I'm at your sister's house. The police is outside this door. I'm in the bathroom. I'm acting like this is my house. Something happened at school. They went to my phone. They're trying to go to the house. I don't know how long I can stall. Right? My heart drops. Inside our house at the time, there's certain things in there. Anyway, I'm about 3 miles away. I ain't got no car. I have a car, but it's at the house. I'm with some little chick I'm with. I tell her what happens. She was like, we need to get back to the house. I said, they're at my sister's house, which is literally a couple blocks away from my house. They're going to find out very soon that he doesn't live there, and they're going to get the information of where he actually lives at my house. So I'm panicking. I got two things on my mind. I said, two things going to happen. Either I can try to make it to the house and maybe get rid of some of the stuff that was in there, or I could just hurry up and just get on the run right now, because if they go to that house, it's a wrap. Anyway, so me and my girl at the time, she was like, well, we need to get there. We need to start running. You know, we like 3-4 miles away. She literally get with me and we start running. We pass by this high school. She ends up seeing her friend in the car. Her friend got like 4 kids. We jump in the car, have her pull over. Meanwhile, she driving hella slow. We trying to tell her, listen, this is important. Meanwhile, she driving like Miss Daisy. My brother called me again. He like, man, we about to go to the house, man. They know that I don't live here no more. We going to the house. We driving down the street. I get to the house. Immediately, I'm going in the house. Me and my girl going upstairs, grabbing stuff, coming back, throwing it in the car. Up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. For like, I can't even remember how long. Adrenaline was pumping. Up and down, just grabbing stuff, throwing it in the car, grabbing stuff, throwing it in the car, knowing that the police about to be coming any second. Literally close the trunk, get in the car, driving out. As we're driving out, police is driving in with my brother. I look at him, the police look at me. As soon as I hit the corner, boom. Long story short, you see how down that woman was? I didn't have no money at the time. I didn't have to tell her, hey, we need to do this. She wanted to go back up and downstairs with me. She was handling business faster than I was handling business. She was more on it than I was on it. She was more there for me than as much as I was. She cared about me and my freedom as much as I cared about it, if not a little bit more. Because she was the one that was like, nah, don't go on a run. We should try to go back to the house right now and try to clean that stuff up. I just say that to say, man, you got to fuck with bitches who fuck with you for real. You know, I've always fucked with women who fuck with me for real. I don't know. I don't know if that story helped anybody out, but I'm just saying, man, I've always only fucked with women who fuck with me for real, not for what I got. Now, what I got is a perk, but I've just been having stuff the past, 9-10 years now. And even still, it's a lot of women where I feel like it wouldn't matter. Now, can we really say that? Who knows? But it ain't like I'm out here giving women this and that. All I'm saying is, man, fuck with women who fuck with you. Stop fucking with women who fucking with you because of where you at in life. And you wouldn't even have that question. Next question. I keep going off on tangents that I don't even know if it got anything to do with your questions.
All right, Trace bought a mod, spent $50. He said, learn so much game. That's all he said.
Appreciate it, man. I'm dropping gems if y'all are willing to pick them up.
Okay. Deshaun Williams said, what do you do if you have a valuable woman, but she's applying pressure about her biological clock?
Well, you should already know my answer. You're not going to pressure me into doing anything I don't want to do. And obviously she's not that valuable if you didn't say, oh, well, yeah, she's so valuable, I'm going to give it to her. It's like this. Is she valuable or is she the most valuable thing you can get? And I've seen this story play out many times. When a woman starts pressuring you about her biological clock, that's a red flag. Because it's not necessarily that she wants to have a baby with you. It's that she wants to have a baby. And you don't really know what she's going to do when she has that baby. You give a woman a baby, you're giving her leverage. It's a red flag, my guy. I would let her know, listen, it's not in the cards for me right now. Now, if you want to go freeze your eggs and, do something like that for when it is in the cards for me, then I would appreciate it. But hey, if this is that big of an issue to you, that you feel like you need to have this baby now, and I can't give it to you, I will be 100% not selfish and allow you to walk away to a man who will give you what you want. Simple as that. I'm not changing the trajectory of my life for no broad, especially a baby. A baby will change your entire life. A child will change the rest of your life forever. I'm not putting that in a bitch hands, and I'm not going to let her pressure me into that shit. Bitch, I said no. Now, if you want to fuck with me, you could fuck with me. You don't want to fuck with me, you want to go fuck with somebody who going to give you a baby, well, then I guess that's what you're going to have to do, because what we're not going to do is make me do something I don't want to do. It's really that simple, man. And I've seen your story pan out a million times, man. It never ends well. Any woman who has a biological clock is not doing it because she wants to do it. She's doing it because she has a limited amount of time. And anybody who makes rush decisions, most of the time it's the wrong decision with the wrong person, and you're only being used for what you can give the broad. So it is what it is. I mean, she either gonna understand or she ain't.
Mr. Rudy III said, I gotta get on the weekly calls. I know you got some stuff I can take and run up a bag with game-wise. That burning a clean flame stuck with me. What do you find more effective, audiobook or paperback? And he said $20.
Appreciate it. Yeah, burning the clean flame. You need three things: clarity, willpower, and energy to be successful. You've never met a successful individual who didn't have clarity, willpower, and energy. And you need to do things to keep the bars on all of those things up as high as possible. Getting the right amount of sleep, getting the right nutrition, eating the right foods. And really, it's what not to do. Smoking weed. It makes willpower, energy, and clarity worse. Alcohol, energy, willpower, and clarity worse. Eating too much, too many carbs, too many of the wrong things, too many preservatives. Energy, willpower, clarity worse. It's going to be very hard to be successful if you don't have clarity, if you don't have willpower to do what needs to be done, and you don't have the energy to do it. And most of you are lacking all of those things. So you really want to make sure that you're optimizing your life, your health, your food, everything to have energy, willpower, and clarity. That's why I meditate, clarity. That's why I do my war map to get clear on what I want, vision board, whatever you want to call it. Affirmations, things of that nature. That's why I eat clean. That's why I hit my macros, which make sure that I don't go over the allotted amount of carbs, which make people have brain fog, get them sluggish, weakens your willpower and your clarity, which makes you procrastinate. So what was his question?
He said, do you find the audiobook or paperback more effective?
Both. You need both. And I read that when you read, it does something different in your brain than when you listen to audiobooks. So I would do both. Reading helps me stay focused. I like the habit of reading almost like a meditation practice. One, when I read on paper, I love to be able to underline things. Then the book becomes a notebook. All I got to do is open up any page and I got all the best notes already underlined. Plus, when I read on paper, it helps me stay focused and not, wander off my mind. But then again, audiobooks, man, when you're in the gym, I tell my son this all the time. If you're cleaning your room, if you're doing some activity where you don't need to be like paying attention, put an audiobook on in the background. I tell people this all the time. You'll never beat me. You want to know why? For 365 days, when you go to the gym, you're listening to music. For 365 days, when I go to the gym, I'm listening to an audiobook or a program. So that's 365 hours a year of personal development that I'm getting. In the next year, that's 2 years of that, 3 years of that. I don't know how many days that is. So in 3 years, that's about 1,000 days of me doing that, right? 1,000 hours of personal development that I have on top of you. After the fourth, fifth year, you will never catch up. I have so many different ideas and things that I can draw from. That's why I've always been effective in everything that I've done, because I'm able to draw from so many different places. The ideas that I have, I don't even know where they come from sometimes, because I listen to so many different things. I've been learning and listening to audiobooks for so long. Hey, man, when I used to have my bros, man, we'll go from LA to Arizona to Las Vegas to here to there. Guess what I'm listening to the whole time in the car? Back then, I used to download audiobooks for free on like torrents. You had to, my computer would get viruses and shit because they wasn't all legit. And that's what I would do. So yeah, audiobooks are good because you can listen to them anywhere. You can't always just pick up a book and do something. Man, you should just keep one earbud in your ear 24/7 and just have something playing. Have some personal, just think. In a year's time, how much information, how much better you'll be as an individual if you're just constantly listening to things that are helping grow and water your mind. So yeah, do both. All right, I'm about to jump off. Y'all better, send something in. Send something in for me.
So you have
Any topics before I jump off?
someone said, how much money do I need to send to get my super chat read? Deshaun Williams sent $2. He said, good looking out. Boffy Lagoose sent $20. Didn't say anything.
Appreciate it.
Someone said, does it make sense to take a step backwards to a better environment, to take a step forward in personal development?
I mean, you gotta expound on that. See, that's why I like when people get on actual calls with me, because I can shoot off an answer, but I don't actually know your situation or the details to know. But I mean, in life, I say it like this all the time, man. It's not necessarily that you're taking a step backwards. You're just taking a step backwards from the wrong path, So you may be further down that path, but ultimately that's the wrong path. So seemingly you're taking a step backwards in the micro, looking up close. But if you zoom out to your life's plan, that was a dead end anyway. So it just, to everybody looking right here, it looks like a step back, but it's really a step in the right direction, because that direction was going to end you in a dead end anyway. I say that shit all the time, like for myself, man. If you looked at what I was doing, man, I was Rolls racing, condos, Jaguar, Benz, Range Rover, condo here, guard gated community house, and then I had to take a step, what they would say back, but was it back? If you ask me, it was forward. Just didn't look like it to nobody else, because if I kept going in that direction, down that path, it would have been a dead end, almost guaranteed. Even if I didn't go to prison, it still wouldn't have been a lifestyle I wanted to live. I would have just got further and deeper in a lifestyle that would make it harder and harder for me to turn around, because I'm getting more and more money. I'm spending more and more time in this. So it would have just been harder and harder for me to stop, because I would have had more money. I would have had more time that I was doing that instead of something else. That's why a lot of people don't stop what they're doing, because you didn't spend so much time doing a certain thing. You're good at it. And once you get good at something, it's very hard to go from being a master at something to having to go back to be a novice and having to start over and go through the trials and tribulations and not having the admiration and the things that you get when you become a master. So that's why a lot of people stay stuck in lifestyles, because they never started trying to build the other skill and they don't want to go through that process again. But anyway, yeah, man, don't think about it as a step back. Think about it as a one step in the right direction, because right now you're going down the wrong direction. Next question.
All right, next one. Someone said, I wish the interview with you and Johnny Cash was longer. Such a great podcast.
We're going to do it again soon.
Sir Wolf folks said, he said, this is why I said the coldest people are now, because it's annoying for you to be online right now. That was my point. You weren't forced to be on the internet, but you choose to anyway.
Oh, yeah, but I appreciate the compliment. No, hey, and on that note, man, you know, I got to retract my statement. I think you are absolutely right, man. Hey, but I'll tell you like this, though. I used to say this all the time. I said, man, I always used to say I was great. I used to tell my women back in the day, like, y'all know y'all lucky, right? I'm the best kept secret ever. And them bras knew it. I used to say it. I said, I am the best kept secret ever. You know, and now the world finally getting to see.
Can you speak on indoctrination with your women? I hear you say music, books, what else?
He said, speak on indoctrination with your woman. I mean, it's really just curating an environment, man. And I'll say it's not just women, man. I use women as the analogy, but everything that I say is psychology. Everything that I'm saying is psychology and be used for a woman or a man. But okay, so indoctrination, man, it's just like company culture. Company culture. What do we value around here? What do you see that we value and how we move in every aspect? And that music is very important, because music is one of the best influential brainwashing tools on the planet. That's why the biggest companies in the world have been controlling society through music forever. That's why there's certain music that they put out in certain groups and communities, because they understand how powerful it is, right? So if you understand how powerful it is, man, use it in your favor, not against yourself, by what she's listening to. What were we listening to last night? I ain't gonna put it on here, because then they gonna probably not give me paid. It was Aaliyah. Let me look up the lyrics real quick. I'm gonna get to your question though. It was a song. I can't think of the name of it. By Aaliyah. I gotta go to the lyrics, because I can't play it on here. Every one of your women should know this song. They should know it by heart. It's on the Next Friday soundtrack. Let me see. How do I get to the lyrics of this song? Everybody's woman. And let me know if y'all want that brainwashing playlist. I got some cold ones in there. Give me a second. Lyrics. Oh, yeah, that was on the Jet Li movie. Romeo Must Die. That was a good movie. Real quick. The chorus goes, I don't want to be without you, be without you. I don't want to live without you, live without you. I don't want to go without you, go without you. I don't want to be alone. And she just keeps talking about the whole song about how she don't want to be without this man, how she don't even want to live without this man. Listen, that's how every woman that fucks with me feels. And if they don't feel like that, it's hard for me to fuck with them. And you need to be putting songs on like this that your woman could get into, because I guarantee you put those songs on, she's going to start to feel that way about you. You're kind of influencing her to feel like that. And that's why you don't want her listening to shit that's not conducive to how you want her to think. Like we say all the time, you're going to become who you're around, what you're around, the things that you intake, right? So therefore, you have to curate everything that she's intaking if you really want her to be yours. I mean, and it shouldn't be hard to do. It shouldn't be hard to do because you should already curate your environment for the same thing. I already curate my environment for my own mind. I already brainwash myself. We're getting brainwashed 24/7, man. These big companies spend billions and billions of dollars. They know how we tick. They know how the human mind works better than the average individual. And they are always using tricks to manipulate us and brainwash us. So the same way that I brainwash myself on purpose, I do the same thing to the woman. And music is one of the easiest ways to do it because a woman will get emotionally involved. What did I say earlier, man? Anything that your imagery mixed with emotion creates worlds. That's why I was able to do things that other men could never do, because I understood the power of a woman because she's very emotional. What do you have to do with those emotions? You just have to guide those emotions. If I can get a woman emotionally involved in an idea that I have, do you know how powerful that is? Even Napoleon Hill, mastermind. I mean, shit, they say it in the Bible, when two people come together in my name, right? But even Napoleon Hill, he said, man, when you have a mastermind, when two minds get together on the same page, it doesn't just do 1 + 1. It's about 2 times infinity, the power of manifestation and the power of the energy that goes on. And who does Napoleon Hill say needs to be your number one mastermind partner? Your wife or your significant other. And you niggas is missing that because your woman is most of the time your biggest adversary. And that's why you can't do nothing. And that's why I was able to create miracles, because I understand why I tell you niggas don't know how to have a broad. I say that shit all. You niggas don't even know what to do with the bitch, man. You don't understand these things. The woman is emotional. Emotions move worlds, creates worlds in so many different fashions. We are a radio frequency receiver. We receive frequencies and we give frequency. We're broadcasting 24/7. We just can't see it. And emotion broadcasts the strongest. What emotions? It doesn't matter. Whichever ones are strong. Women have strong emotions. So if you can harness a woman's emotions to be on the same page as you, to visualize and want the same things as you, you will create miracles. And I've done it. You niggas don't know how to have a bitch, man. That's why it's so important to have the broad on the same time as you, to really like you for real. Otherwise, she's sending out counterintuitive frequencies all the while that you trying to do something. That's why that shit don't work. That's why the shit you working so hard for don't work, because that bitch right next to you is sending out counterintuitive frequencies about what you trying to do because she don't like you. But anyway, I'm gonna get off the subject. That's why I say, hey man, y'all don't know how to have a bitch. You ain't never knew how to have one because you was never taught this information. A woman, it could be very valuable to your life because she can give that emotion that's necessary to move worlds. Come on now. Come on now. Or break worlds. A woman will break your world down. That's why when she texting you on the phone, that's why when she mad at you, that's why when you just thinking about her being mad at why you was so late somewhere, you can't think of nothing else but that, because a woman's emotions is so strong. She's sending that frequency out to the universe. You can't not feel it. She's bombarding you with it. That's why when you walk into a house and a woman got attitude and you be like, what's the problem? And she say, I ain't got no attitude. Well, I'm not even doing nothing, but you can feel it because that shit is real. And why it's so important to have it on your page, on your time, with the right positive energy. Then it's better to just not have no broad than a rotten broad, because it will bring your life down. 70% of you would be further in life if it wasn't for that broad in your house. But we're going to get off that subject. It's too deep for y'all anyway.
Yuri Gold said, appreciate you, Goldie. Before hearing you, everyone around me said something was wrong with me for having such high standards for women.
Hey, man, I don't have high standards for women, man. I have high standards for myself, and anybody around me got to be held to them same standards. I'm not holding a woman to a high standard. If that's high to you, then I wonder where your standards for yourself is, man. I hold a woman to a standard of me. Hey, man, I do it. You're grown. Hey, equality, right? You're a woman. I'm a man. I may be stronger than you physically, but our minds are the same, right? So therefore, you're a grown adult. So then you see certain standards around here that you should abide by. You don't gotta abide by them. You just can't be here if you do. But I wouldn't say my standards are higher than the average guys, but I don't measure my standards for anybody by anybody else's. I measure them by mine. So what I'm requiring of her, I'm just asking of the same of myself.
What do you do about a woman's friends that don't like you and always bad mouthing about you to your girl?
If a woman has friends that don't like you and she stays being friends with those people, then your woman don't like you. There's no way that she could not be influenced by those things. And all it takes is a weak moment, which there will be. It's like this, right? You're an alcoholic. Would you put alcohol in your cabinet? No, you wouldn't. Why? Because no matter how disciplined you are, one of these days you're going to cave to it. So when a woman has friends that don't like you, all it has to be is a day where she's being a little weak and y'all got into an argument or y'all going through a little downtime in your life. Now those thoughts and those seeds that have been planted will break your relationship apart. And it's just a matter of time. So if your woman is able to be around women who don't like you, then she don't really fuck with you. Period. It's really that simple. It's like, okay, if I go around somebody, first of all, I know people right now that don't associate with other people that I deal with. They would never talk about that person in front of me. I wouldn't allow it. They bring it up, but we're not going to talk about my homie. Y'all got a problem, but ain't no beef like that. So it ain't like that. But y'all have an issue. Well, because of whatever you got, that's cool. But you're not finna talk about him in front of me. And he's not going to talk about you in front of me either. It's not going to happen. So if your woman is even allowing it, it's because she has poor character and wasn't raised properly, which a lot of women and people just weren't. There's no way that I'm going to get in front of one of my friends and allow him to talk about somebody that I'm hanging out with. Why? Because I have character. What type of person would I be if I let somebody talk about somebody that I'm already hey man, you can have a problem with him all you want, but in my presence, respect me and I'm not gonna allow you to keep talking about my homie. It's not gonna happen. And if your woman don't feel like that, man, how think of the mind of an individual. Same way I'm saying, I'm not gonna allow you to talk about him. If I could allow you to talk about him, it's because I don't really like him either, and I feel like what you're saying is true. Otherwise, how could I stand for you to sit right here while you're talking about this individual? So what does that make your woman look like? If she could stand somebody talking down about you, she should damn near come home with you with scratches on her face like, yeah, me and so-and-so got into it because she wouldn't stop talking about you. If it ain't like that, come on, man, these women have poor character. Your woman ain't shit, man. That's it. She ain't shit. If your woman could sit up there and allow somebody to talk about you, come on, man. Would you let somebody talk about your mama? No, because you love your mama, right? Would you let somebody talk about your brother? No, because that's your brother, right? Would you let somebody talk about your girl? Probably not. Why? Because you have character. So if your woman is letting somebody, one of her friends, constantly talk about you, your woman ain't shit. Tell her I said it. Play this part back to her. Rewind it so she can see it.
All right, someone said, I read in Think and Grow Rich that two minds coming together is like creating a third mind called a supermind or mastermind.
He said he what?
I read in Think and Grow Rich that two minds coming together
Yep.
is like creating a
Mastermind. Yep. You read and Think and Grow Rich. Yep. Two minds coming together creates a supermind, a mastermind. I do believe that. I mean, they say that shit in the Bible. When two people come together in my name, miracles happen. Man, I know this is true. I know this is true. When two people, it's like you start to create a second mind, man. Every time I have a woman, right, we start to get, together and we finally start getting on the same page. And then it's like, oh, okay, I'll start to text her and then she texts me, or I'm about to call her and she calling me. I'll be like, okay, we on the same mind now. Now greatness can happen, but you got to direct it in the right way. Any two people emotionally invested in something coming together, you create an invisible third mind, a bigger mind together. I mean, yeah, man. Think and Grow Rich. It ain't my words. I didn't say it. And if y'all didn't know, Rick Ross came out with an album called The Mastermind, right? And in that in that album, one of the first tracks is Napoleon Hill talking about the mastermind, an audio of Napoleon Hill talking about mastermind. Ain't that some shit?
So is that could you ever imagine yourself doing this service that you're giving to the world, and how does it make you feel?
No, I never. It wasn't even a thought. It wasn't even a thought. At times, it doesn't even feel real because what I was doing was so far from this, and I didn't even have this in my mind, even in the slightest. So that's how I feel sometimes. I feel like, this is destiny, man. I'm walking the path of God. God is guiding me because I'm doing things that I never even wanted to do, never even thought about doing, never even had the inclination to want to do. And it just, and it just happened so naturally. So, I feel like because I'm doing God's work, God put me here for a reason, man. I don't hear nobody talking like me out here, and I'm out here changing lives. I'm getting dudes stop smoking. I'm getting dudes to start reading books. I'm getting dudes who ain't never thought about reading to start reading. So I'm doing some good, you know what I'm saying? So.
All right, someone said, how important is it to delay gratification on your come up?
I mean, Sounds good. It sounds good. Like when you say delayed gratification, like, what do you mean? Like, I get what you're saying, like, because everybody said, but let me play devil's advocate here. A lot of times what you want has to be delayed because you ain't working hard enough. You can come up very fast. You can come up in life very fast. Most people just aren't putting the work in necessary to see the results in the fashion that they need to. And that's why most people quit, because you're not taking the right amount of action. So you're discouraged at the slow results that you're getting. I wouldn't even say, oh, you need delayed gratification, even though you do. I would say most people need to work more, work harder, work faster, or work in the right ways. Massive action, 10x. You know, if you're making 10 cold calls a day, make 1,000. You know, if you, whatever you're doing, if you upped what you were doing times 100, you would get the results a lot faster than you think. But yeah, of course, you know, delayed gratification. Of course, you got to put the seed in the ground. You got to water it. You got to cultivate it. You got to wait for it to grow. Yes, that is true. But for the average individual that I see, your results should still be faster than that. You should at least see a sprout pop up to get you motivated and encouraged to keep going. Most people just need to do more, myself included.
Freedom Land said $5. They said, what does this statement mean to you? The game is to be sold, not told.
The game is to be sold, not told is like a universal law. You can't get something for nothing. And if I try to give you something for nothing, I'm violating the rules of the universe, right? The game is to be sold, not told doesn't necessarily mean you have to pay for it. I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to get money for it. It means that you have to pay for game one way or another. Either you're going to pay with money or you're going to pay with time, blood, sweat, and tears. So how do you want to do it? And it's almost a violation of the game to give game for free, because game given for free, it's not appreciated. Not only is it not appreciated, it's not fully listened to. And to go outside with half game is worse than having no game, because at least with no game, you know you have no game. If you have a little bit of game and think you have the game right, that's how you get your head knocked off. So in the game is to be sold, not told. And then you get a lot of people perpetrating, getting into things they shouldn't get into because they got a little bit. It only gets you more hurt than it does worse for you than if you had none. Because at least if you had none, you'd have that awareness. But if you get a little and think you really got something, you're in a lot of trouble.
So I said, what do you think about the whole sauce situation?
That ain't really my lane to be speaking on stuff like that. You know, I know exactly what everybody else knows, man. I shout out Sauce Walker, RIP to, the man who got killed, you know.
All right, so I said, ever since you got financial freedom, what can you do to keep your mind busy?
Was that a super chat? That wasn't a really good question. Ever since I got financial freedom, what do you do to keep your mind busy? I don't understand it. Go to the next one.
How do men feel about rejection? What is your mindset towards that? You said peas. I don't know.
It's not, this is the thought process, and you need to get my Get Chose with Your Mouth Closed guide. You need to get my Game God Mentality program. You need to get my how to talk to women, what to say and how to say it. I'm gonna give you a little excerpt. That's why you got to get the Game God Mentality program. So many gems. It's a framework difference. Hey, man, in the game, it's the same, right? You got to run through 100 punks to get that one gem. So understanding that, I understand from inception that I have to run through 99 women just to get one good one. So when I understand that from inception, do you think I'm so down and out when a woman says no? No, I understood from the jump that I had to run through 99 to get one. So guess what? My mindset is, let me hurry up and run through these 99 so I can find my one. It's a different mindset. I already know it's only going to be one out of 100 that's really fucking with me. And I'm okay with that because I'm a gem myself. You don't find gems just laying on the ground. I'm looking for the woman who's compatible with me, the one who likes me, the one who has the characteristics and things that I'm looking for. And they're not just out here everywhere. If they were, they wouldn't be valuable because nothing in value is in abundance, right? So I understand it's 1 out of 100. So therefore, you didn't reject me. You saw that I'm not who you're looking for, and I'm only looking for who's looking for me. Cool. And I can't wait for this interaction to be over soon as I know that you're not looking for me, because I'm only looking for who's looking for me. Get my Get Chose with Your Mouth Closed guide. It goes into it. Get my How to Talk to Women guide. And for sure, get the Game God Mentality program, GoldieRatio.com.
Someone said, since becoming more popular online, how do you navigate dealing with women? What do you do about women faking her character to get next to you?
Don't matter. Everybody fake their character to get next to you because everybody is putting up a front when they first meet you. You know, so it's no different. People going to show who they are, and it's always going to be a test to see it.
Freedom Land sent $5. It said, when you were approaching 100 women a day, did you approach only the women choosing you, or did you approach any women that you're interested in?
I was approaching every woman. See, back then, let me how to put this right. I understood that any woman could get some bread. And I knew how to build a woman up. I had the tools in my toolbox and I had the game. So it was any woman. I mean, nothing crazy, but yeah, it was pretty much any woman. Next question.
Someone said, what should I do?
And let me tell you too, man, I never even got to 100. There was no day that I ever got to 100. Before I got to 100, I caught something.
Someone said, what should I do if my baby mom is keeping my son?
Real quick, too. Me and my friend had a game we would play because we understood the psychology, which most people don't understand. This is a numbers game. We wouldn't talk about how many numbers we got. We would hurry up and come back to each other and say, man, how many times you get rejected today? We didn't say it like that, but how many no's did you get? Because we understood the more no's we got, the closer to a yes. So if you go on door to door to sell something, I guarantee you the person who has the most no's has the most sales. You see what I'm saying? Everything is about mindset, shifting how you think about things. Right? She didn't reject me. I rejected her. She wasn't looking for me. I wasn't looking for her. No harm, no foul. Listen, it's like this. I got a mentor. He said, what does he say? You got to kiss 1,000 frogs to find a prince or a princess. Hey, man, that's it. Hey, man, you frog, until that princess pop up. I understand the process. Some of y'all too. Oh, I just kissed this frog. I just kissed this frog. I just kissed this frog. Man, you think it's fucking princesses everywhere around? That's what you think, huh? You just think, and the worst thing that can happen to you is you catch something too good too quick. Because then that's how you gonna think shit's supposed to go.